Welcome along to episode 15. We just worked out by using all my fingers of the film man and the film fan. My name's Brent. I'm the film fan. I'm here with the owner of Matakana Cinemas, Dan. Hello, Dan.
Kia ora.
Long time between popcorn, my friend.
We were just talking as well before this
Yeah.
and realised that it has been 8 months or something since
Yes.
the last one. We haven't done one of these in 2024.
I know.
However, here we are.
Yeah,
And
bad
it's,
us.
It's bad us, but it's great to be back.
Yeah.
To even consider talking about movies with someone who loves talking about movies.
Absolutely. And we're in the Tivoli, which is one of my favourite cinemas here at Matakana Cinemas as well. I just want to start off by talking about, wow, this year in movies, it started out kind of slow, don't you think? But it's really amping up to be what's looking to be a great year to get people back into cinema.
Yeah, I mean, how much time have we got today?
Oh, we got a couple of hours, we were fine.
Okay. Look, thinking back, seeing as it's been so long since we sat in these hot seats and talked movies, January was really disappointing. It was a tough month. Usually January should be one of the biggest of the year for us, and it sets us up for the rest of the calendar year. And it just didn't really happen. And going to the movies is definitely, for a lot of people, a luxury, right? It's been a tough year for a lot of people when it comes to finances, and that does have an effect. The other thing that's had a huge effect on the rollout of films this year were the actors and screenwriter strikes, which happened in Hollywood last year. Those went on for 6 months, That puts a huge dent in the rollout of films. It didn't really sort of take a huge effect until the start of this year, even though they happened last year, such as the way that films sort of happen. And we're still feeling a little bit of that effect now. And if we're going to go even further back, COVID is still...
Yes.
having its sort of tentacles and its effects on the industry.
Unbelievable,
so it's
isn't it?
unbelievable. And in March 2025, it'll be 5 years since,
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first movie to go past $1 billion this year was Inside Out 2. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing at the moment is commentary from people who don't necessarily know how the industry works, and that, hey, Inside Out 2's been huge. It's done nearly $1.5 billion. It's a massive figure. Deadpool and Wolverine has gone past $1 billion. The cinema industry is really healthy. Yes, it is at times, and the issue we've got at the moment is huge peaks, but really long troughs. It used to be that you'd still have the peaks, but the baseline was much higher. So you're sort of riding this quite consistent wave. But at the moment, you've got Everest and the Marianas Trench, and
Yeah.
that doesn't help with just keeping the fire burning. The fire goes out, and then you've got to stoke it back up, so it's really challenging. Having said that, I feel like the back half of this year is actually looking really strong. You can't deny, on the other hand, the huge success of Inside Out 2 and the huge success of Deadpool Wolverine. This time last year we had Barbenheimer. This time 2 years ago we had Top Gun Maverick. So you always have this mid-year peak, and those films are because purely the American summer, it's when those big films get rolled out. You always have this sort of mid-year boost, which is fantastic. What I'm seeing coming up is that some of the traditionally quieter months are actually starting to fill out with some really strong titles. Here's looking at you, November. We've got a really strong lineup in November with we've got Red One from Dwayne Johnson and J.K. Simmons, and that looks like a really fun family film from the Jumanji filmmakers, and that's in the first week of November. Then in the second week we've got Gladiator 2, which by all accounts is great, and it's looking awesome. Ridley Scott,
Yes.
back doing his thing.
Absolutely.
No Russell Crowe, but, that's fine. In the third week of November, we've got Wicked, which is highly anticipated. And in the fourth week, we've got Moana 2, which could quite possibly be the biggest film of this year. So November, traditionally a little bit of a quiet month in the lead up to our summer. All of a sudden, that's looking really strong. And then as we go into summer, we've got another lineup of really strong films. So I am feeling positive, but it's just about making sure that the lower and shoulder weeks and seasons are sort of being filled out with films that get people in the door, like Inside Out 2 and Deadpool. We just need more of that. And I think as we start to see a healthier writing and actor and just less impact on people financially. We're going to sort of see people come back to the movies because when there's movies that people want to see, they come to the cinema.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like there are a lot of movies coming out, which is great. And just thinking back at my favourite movies of the year so far.
It's been that long, right? We
It's
may as well
been
have
that
a
long.
chat about it.
Yeah, but I saw Kingdom of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Now, I was really over all the Planet of the Apes. It just didn't appeal to me. This one really did. And I think it goes back to some of the costuming and things that are in there that reminded me of the original show. When I grew up in the 70s, Planet of the Apes on television, Mum and Dad came back from America and brought me back a Planet of the Apes mask, a rubber one. So I was the most popular kid in school. So I'd wear that all the time.
Have you still got it?
Yeah, no, I wish I did actually. It's probably worth a fortune now. It was latex rubber
Yeah.
and it was Galen, who was Roddy McDowell
Yeah.
in the original series. But there was just something about the way this one was put together. And I think just obviously the technology again, and all the actors went to ape school, and it was a good story, and I really enjoyed it.
I've seen the same kind of commentary. I haven't seen the film around Alien Romulus as well.
Oh, yeah.
Fitting in between the first two Alien films in terms of the timeline, and the director has been given the hard word by Ridley Scott, who was, the director of the originals, and said, "Don't mess this one up."
Yeah.
And he hasn't. He's done a great job of making it feel like it's in that original film universe by doing practical effects and filming it in a way that all the props are from that era. So it's kind of a subtle way of playing on nostalgia. I do actually wonder if some recent sequel failures have actually sort of lit a bit of a fire under the filmmakers and screenwriters and said, look, we just can't rest on our laurels by just saying, here's the new film from this series and hoping that people come in. Because if a film's not good, people talk about it even faster these days. The day a film gets released, It's all over social media. It's not like in the old days where it would take a little while for it to trickle through in newspaper reviews, So you've got to be on your game. And I'm hoping that is what's happening because it's just great for the industry. What other films have you seen this year that you really enjoyed?
I know one that you're not so keen on, but I really enjoyed The Fall Guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was... I just thought it was one of those movies you go along, you don't have to think about anything. And I remember just kind of briefly some of the series again when I was growing up with Lee Majors, because he was a $6 million man. So whatever he was in after that, we'd watch it just because he was a $6 million man. But I thought it was good. I mean, it was a good marketing for Sydney. That's for sure, as far as, hey, look,
Sure was.
here's the Harbour Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, again, talking about the way that audiences behave, everyone thought that film would go really, really well, and it just did not perform particularly well at the box office. So much was put on Ryan Gosling in his first film post-Barbie, and everyone, me included, felt like Fall Guy, it's going to be one of the biggest films of the year, and it just didn't work.
No.
Why is that? I don't know. The way that audiences behave is much different than it used to be. So, it's word of mouth is so important, and I'm not quite sure what it was about that film, because I liked a lot of it. I didn't like some of it, but I'm not sure what it was about that film, because as you say,
Yeah.
it seemed like a really great
Yeah. I
big
thought so.
screen
Yeah.
popcorn film.
Yep.
Check out at the door and just enjoy it,
Yeah.
So,
Who knows?
Yeah.
What about for you? What were your favourite movies, Dan?
well, I was actually just having a look at my film diary here, and I've got a handful of films, and I've actually seen two of the three, which I'm going to talk about as advanced screenings, that they haven't actually released in cinemas yet.
Oh, right.
So one of them I can't say sort of too much about. Another one's coming up soon, and the other one that I loved, which is probably my favourite film of the year, and it feels like so long ago because it released on January the 1st, is Poor Things.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
From Yorgos Lanthimos. What a outrageous, unusual, funny, wickedly funny movie. Definitely an acquired taste. Obviously, it succeeded hugely when it came to the award season.
Yes.
So, from a critical perspective, it was received really well. Some people didn't like it, and that's fine, because I really love films that are polarizing. I feel like a film that's just bad, everyone will say it's bad.
Yeah.
I feel like a film that people say they don't like, but a lot of people say they love, I think that's a really good thing, because it's not safe filmmaking.
Right.
It's making people think, it's making people laugh or cry, love it, hate it. I feel like that's where like the essence of cinema is at. It's sort of go and see a movie, sometimes you're taking a risk, and you might come out and say, that is the best film I've ever seen, and I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Someone might walk out and go, that is the worst movie I've ever seen, and then talk to someone who thinks it's the best movie they've ever seen, but it creates conversation around movies. I feel like a blah, average movie is all things to everyone, but is not particularly that great, is far inferior to a movie like that. I loved it. I really did. Kinds of Kindness as follow-up, I liked, not as much as Poor Things. Definitely a difficult watch, a good film that's definitely difficult. He's got another one coming out with Emma Stone in 2025. So, I mean, let's see how they go with that. Yeah. But his films really do push buttons, and I love that about a filmmaker that takes risks. I really do. Another film which is coming out on September the 19th is called The Substance. It's got Demi Moore returning to the big screen.
Oh, really?
Without saying too much about it, go and watch the trailer. This film is absolutely batshit crazy. It is an absolutely bananas movie. And it goes from based in sort of reality to just outrageous. It just goes on this crazy arc. The director is a French woman, and she has done films before that are crazy as well. And it's taking a premise of, when you age in Hollywood, what happens to you if you're a big star? So chasing the fountain of youth, using a substance called the substance.
Oh, right.
And creating a younger version of yourself to remain relevant is very much a perennial topic in Hollywood, right? Like the fading star, the aging star, the next big thing. The next big thing in this film is played by someone who's in Kinds of Kindness and Poor Things. She's also Andy McDowell's daughter, Margaret Qualley. She's sort of one of the actresses at the moment. She plays the younger version of Demi Moore. It's got so many pop culture references. It's wickedly funny. It's disturbingly gory. So I did actually have to sit in the cinema like this.
Oh no!
A few times. I was, but the audience I saw it with were in hysterics.
Yeah.
It's definitely not for everyone. It will be an R16 rated film, but if you can kind of push yourself through some of the more bloody scenes, the political and social commentary rises above everything else, and the absurdity just adds an incredible angle to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Substance.
The
I
Substance.
remember that. I'll go watch the trailer for that one, Dan. I'm intrigued now.
Demi Moore's awesome in it,
Yeah.
and she's kind of come back, and there's even people talking about, like, look out for Demi Moore come the awards runs
Oh,
for
good.
this film. And comparing it to Kinds of Kindness is very much grounded in reality. The three movies in it you could imagine happening in real life, and there's one fantastical bit, whereas The Substance is absolutely nuts.
Like an LSD
it's
trip.
so you can actually go and just laugh and just live in the reverence and the absurdity of the film.
Yeah.
Whereas Kinds of Kindness was a bit like creepy because it was actually like, oh, this could actually happen.
Oh, no,
Okay.
I don't want that.
But we're going to have to do another challenge for you. We have to go and see The Substance.
Oh, yeah, no, I will. Yeah. Oh, Demi Moore now. Yeah, I'll go see it for Demi Moore.
I don't know if I should be recommending the movie to people, but the other film which I saw recently at an industry screening, which is going to be coming out later this year, is a film called Tina, and it's a directorial debut from Miki Magasiva. He's the younger brother of Robbie Magasiva,
Oh, okay.
household name in
Yes.
acting circles in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's set initially at the time of the Christchurch earthquakes down in Christchurch, and then the setting moves on quite quickly to 3 years later, and it's about a woman, a Samoan woman, who is trying to deal with grief, and she's a substitute teacher, and she gets hired to fill in at one of Christchurch's most elite schools. Naturally, this most elite school is there's not so many brown people in the school, so it's this kind of clash of cultures, clash of society, clash of middle to lower class and upper class. It's a beautiful film that is genuinely funny at times. I was laughing out loud. Like, the humor's not silly dad joke humor. It's really witty, sharp humor. Cried several times in the film. It was teary. Tina is definitely one of the best films I've seen this year, and even better, it's a New Zealand film.
Yeah.
Miki Magasiva has done an outstanding job. So that's definitely one I want people to make note of. Madman, the distributors, are super excited about the movie. After the film, Mickey was sitting in front of me. I tapped him on the shoulder and introduced myself. Dan from Matakana Cinemas. Hi, Mickey. And he goes, "Oh, I live in Lee.
Cool.
We'll have to do something." So
Yeah,
we've swapped
absolutely.
numbers. So be on the lookout for a special screening with Mickey for Tina.
That'll be great.
So those are my 3 favourite films this year.
Cool.